Beep beep!
Which is not very often we see that, but in
Sino
my
pa
eyes
dyan
right
sa
now,
slot
the
nyo? Ay, di ko alam to. Nakalimutan ko na
are
tol.
the team on Radiant right now. Spirit have
Sila
played
sumila
an
na tol eh.
incredible tournament so far. You heard it in AUI's interview. He thinks Spirit
Oy,
is the
hello
team
Boss
that's playing
Luigi.
the
Kamusta
best
Boss
right
Luigi?
now. But that of course also means that if you are the team to take them down or even take a game off of them, that could be the start of
Yun na,
something
PM
good here
na
for
sa mga
Falcons.
gustong
Falcons
sumabay
in
kay
this
Sir
tournament,
Cherry.
and I guess in recent memory, they've been
Team Spirit
maybe a
ata yung
half
team
step
to beat, tol.
slower than we're used to seeing them,
Ay,
maybe,
thank you
not
Boss
as
Luigi.
polished,
Watch party lang ako
but
dito Boss Luigi.
they always have
Ikaw
that-
rin, ingat lagi Boss
It
Luigi.
always feels like it's a possibility that can just
Bossing
turn it
natin yan
on
si
and
Boss
then
Luigi.
become the Falcons that we remember from last year, being so dominant.
It feels like whenever you're halfway through the tournament, AUI just gets turned on.
Well,
Sino
that's
pa
one way
laging panalo sa
to
screen?
perspective.
Wala pa kami nakakalaban ulit na ano.
If you walk into the room,
Inject, tol.
absolutely he's going to get turned on.
Coincidentally, it's always after he has a coach interview with
Kasi yung mga galing, di ba?
The draft
XG at
gets
saka
so much
sila...
better. He's really in the
Sino
zone.
to?
I think
XG at
there
saka
might be something
yung
going on
Tidebound,
there.
tol,
Yeah,
nasa
we'll have to ask them
PGL.
after the fact.
Romania sila ngayon.
Yeah, he should
Laurel.
ask that in the next interview question. You attracted to me by any chance? I think that would be a good coach interview.
Yeah.
And then you just start singing in his face out of nowhere.
It can't get any worse than the last one. So I think it's pretty fine.
Eh,
As
gago din
Mallory
na
on
ay.
the Pangolier in the mid lane, he is sitting on 27 and 5 versus Laurel, who's not too far
Mid
behind.
ba nila
26
ito yung
so
si
far,
Carl?
a wash.
Ang balita ko tol, hindi ko alam kung confirm. Di pa namin nakascrim eh.
Gone on by
Pero
Skeeter.
yun yung balita tol.
Nice block.
Very close to getting that last
Huling
right
mo
click.
ni
So
Cholops doon.
disconnect them.
CS-wise lamang na lamang dito, pero hindi naman niya makikikot si Lifestealer tol, makakapag-farm pa
The
rin.
win rate of it is, I think it's like 40% in this tournament with a decent sample size.
It only took 20 nerfs, right?
Yeah. And despite
Maganda
that, it's
naman
still
at
going to be good
ikaw
song
ang
to actually
katabi.
Maureen Laurel.
Ball!
Headshot, Laurel. He's gonna get silenced now.
Uy,
He actually dodges
Dodge!
the blood grenade. He's gonna be able to walk away.
Patay pa
Crit
rin.
finally hits him with that gun.
Very close.
Although the blood
Igo
grenade
po.
coming up from a Poshka. Now he might be able to get a
Poshka.
double kill. Crit able to stick up. Big
Oh,
swat from
this
Mallory.
crit
That is
so
2 kills
good.
For Falcons. Could have been the other way around easily.
That was super close. I think Laurel was half a second away from having another slight. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, that was...
You're wrong, Cinderen.
That was tight.
Kakaslight
Or
of
never
piece lang eh, dinage yung blood
He was not
grenade.
gonna slide, Shannon. I psyched myself
Di-
out.
di
but
mamatay
like you
pa.
said, fight on margins. 1 or 2 more attacks either way, and it could have been a 2-0 for Spirit, but instead the dead shot from Crate was clutch, and it's a really cool rotation. Obviously, Muerta has some interesting angles. I want to say the new layout in mid lane actually helps her compared to where the trees were before. I think it's easier when you're playing Dire to get in and find some angles here when you're ganking mid for a hero like Pango. But to follow up on the whole Pango thing, I flat out think some teams have just been overrating it. I think the reason its win rate is where it is that it has been picked with too high priority
Okay.
earlier in the tournament. You can see in
Di
this game,
makasabay
Falcons
bo-
picked it as their
caster.
overall last pick of the draft.
Hindi, sakto lang din kasi yung mga yan tol.
If Pango is in that
Hindi ko daw
spot,
binugbog dati yan si Cinderen
I
ah.
think that's
Nung nagdodota
fine. I
pa
don't
yun
think
ah,
this hero
player.
has to always be so flexible and strong that you can pick it super early. It's fine that it's a little bit more of a later consideration.
Yep, and Mallory is doing.
Joke lang, di ko alam kung nakalabang ko to. Nakalabang ko ba dati dito?
I mean, Ember can be really annoying. Like roots in general, just Pango cannot stand. So searing chains is always going to be an issue unless
Pag
you
di
itemize against it.
nag-TI T1 ngayon, papamigay ko bahay namin. Ganda tol, pamigay mo na yan tol. Wala naman T1 na team ngayon eh.
A lot worse matchups that he's
Kupal.
somehow dominated, so he's going to be confident on pretty much anything he gets his hands on. As Yotoro will pounce away.
Yeah.
And I mean, his
Kupal
CS is
ka.
actually struggling in terms of the cores right now.
Nabalik mo pa yung ano, nawala na.
Is a notoriously weak laner. The way this hero wins lanes is when it's playing against a favorable melee hero matchup that you can bully
Sarap ng
together with
sahod
your
dun,
five,
T1
but
tol.
by pulling
Nakaganto
Miposhka
talaga,
off of bot
Prad, no?
into mid with crits rotation,
Ganyan no.
the TP of the Jakiro helps out quite a bit. Magnus is so strong in the early stage with just his raw stats and the build that you go for with the facet of Eternal Empowerment that you actually just stand there and you hit the Slark sometimes and you can win the trade. When Slark hits 6, this changes drastically.
Nag-aakausap kayo ni Faker na, tol, katawagan ko tol. Sabi ko, kamusta ka tol? Okay lang daw siya eh. Ganun lagi sagot niya, okay lang ako tol.
It's going to be hard to out-CS that.
Abot ba 10k USD lagpas tol?
Amara as well.
Mga ano ata eh, 24?
I wouldn't say every game, but
Puta,
most of the
nabita ata
games.
ako.
Carry build, mostly, right?
That's true. He has been a position one most of this
He
time.
saw Doracio's game yesterday and he was like, I can also be Alchemist in the offlane.
Yeah, the 1000 GPM essentially.
He had like 850.
Ay, kalimutan niya na, konti lang naman
He's
viewers eh.
offlane, so do you go for this? I mean, he obviously went for that facet, so you want to farm.
DIR is what? Joke lang yung Boss Luigi. Alam ko naman, tagal na ako streamer. Hindi nyo na ako maibig sa ganyan, tal.
Sometimes dead shot.
Uy! Ang ganda naman. Patay! Okay, Falcon is back, tal. Tangin na, laging panalo offlane ngayon, ah.
He knew he was getting 6 from that last creep.
Offlane so strong, ah.
Gets off the dual breath, ice path as well. Coming in, not even needed. Shield crash is enough. Double kill for Malrine.
The classic way to bait something like this is where you're playing Lion, right? And you're level 5 and you Earth Spike the range creep to get 6 and then you finger the carry.
Yeah.
This was the Magnus version of that, which is pretty unusual to see, but Amar knew he was going to get 6 from that creep and then he instantly skewered into baiting out the Dark Pact and then got RP off. So beautiful stuff from the side of Falcons here and a good start to the game. You heard on the panel Lacoste in particular praising the lineup of Spirit in their ability to out-heal and sustain damage. That might be part of the reason that Amar is thinking about this build.
Ba't ganyan maglaro to si Malrine? Ang lakas. Di actually, tal, pag si Larl yung kalane nata, tal, hindi ganun ka, kalakas mag-lane si Larl. Sakto na mag-lane yan, eh.
He doesn't burst.
Usually naman nakakalin nila nagpa-pop up, tal. Pero magaling sa game si Larl, tal. Kumbaga si, ano kasi ang ano eh, si Larl at saka si Collapse at saka si Atoro talaga bumubuhat sa Spirit, tal eh.
Right? And having that level of foresight can be shows a really deep understanding of the game. Now, that doesn't mean this is going to work out and that it's the best choice, but it just
hindi ko alam, tol. Ano bang basa nyo sa mga mid? Kumbaga sa laning. May mga tryhard na mid na Pinoy, di ba? Nakalimutan ko na kung sino mga tryhard sa hindi. Kaya na mag, ano niya. Gago, corrosion, tapos meron siyang orb of light.
There's a nice juicy stack here on the Spirit side.
Yep.
Anong rank sa Dota yung malakas na para sa'yo? Hindi ata ako sa rank ngayon, tol eh. Sa team na talaga? Kumbaga, kung manonood ka talaga ng mga ano, tol, team talaga eh.
At doing some of it, Jakiro can cook it at level 6. They'll have a way to get these stacks.
Scan comes out, so Collapse knows this is coming on
sa team, yes, sa team talaga, tol eh. Hindi mo masabing malakas si ganito, si ganyan.
We can see the build on Skeeter is actually going to be very standard, just the Radiance.
Yep. Straight Radiance Rush, no armlet, shenanigans. Wants to keep scaling. Now, the Slark versus Lifestealer matchup is actually got out just barely from the calling. That was very close.
Sneaky.
Being able to land that silence, and who knows what would happen, but... Wait, Larwin's going Blade?
Pag team fight, yes, magaling talaga sa team fight yan, tol. Ito, mag-Midas, tol.
That is unusual.
Laging bugbog yung mga carry, tol.
But typically it's when you're struggling on the Ember.
I mean, I guess this isn't the best Mage Slayer game, right? Like, what are you really countering with a Mage Slayer, which is the standard Ember go-to item? But I don't think these are the most obvious Blade Mail lineups either. Like, Lifestealer can largely ignore it. It's annoying from Huerta, for sure, but she's a support. Pango can do a ton of damage regardless. I don't know. I'm not completely sure I follow this one. I definitely follow the not Mage Slayer, but then the question is, was this the second best choice after that? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get it a bit later what the angle is.
Well, they triple team on the
sino goat mo sa Dota? Si Miracle ata pinamalakas talaga dati, tal.
We've seen a lot of
Prime Miracle, tal. Mapapawaw ka sa mga ginagawa. Parang ano siya? High level sobra yung ano niya, tol. Kumbaga 2020 pa lang. Parang ganun. Kunyari mga 2015, 2016. Para na siyang naglalaro from ano? Ng 2022. Parang ganun. Daya. Inalo pero siya pa rin pinakamatindi talaga, tal. Tingin ka. Sobrang advance eh. Kaya nga, hindi na-active sa competitive ulit si Miracle eh.
Largely just through Mana Region, which separates him from quite a lot of other carries that are
kaya mo nga siya sa mid.
Attacks and therefore go for.
Wala yung laning kasi talaga dati, tal, ano talaga. Tsaka hindi ata tryhard si Miracle sa lane, tal. Kumbaga sa game siya magaling sobra, tal, after ng lane. Like yung kunyari mga Sunstrike, bitawan ng spells, mga ganun, tal.
Of course, this makes your hero very weak for the foreseeable future. Like the next 10 minutes, I don't think Radon offers particularly much in fights. But Spirit might just want to split push the game. Coddle, Ember, and they've killed a mate.
Pumatay.
Yep. Snake King has fallen. And of course, we are seeing the recall facet from Rue.
Goat na team naman. OG ata, OG. Mas goat sa akin OG eh. It's either OG or Spirit. Yung OG kasi tol, ang ganda ng storyline. Kasi 'di ba, parang nag-away si Notil at saka si Fly. Sayang di nagsuntukan. Tapos si Spirit naman, talagang malakas sila tol. Pero si 33 din, no? Dalawang champion, no? Kupal. Kupal eh. Ay, mabigay ng pera eh. Anong nangyayari tuloy dahil sa ayaw nila mabigay ng pera tol. Nagpo-promote yung mga Pinoy ng sugal tol, di makasabay ng Dota eh. Doon tayo sa illegal. Pukin lang yun ah. Okay? Ano to?
There's a lot of major benefits to having this during every single second of downtime. It's just the better choice, right? Solar Bind is the one you almost always take on mid-coddle because he's a fighter and he wants to go and find kills. But for support, I really like the mindset behind having this.
Game na ba sila?
It's like it's kind of a jack of all trades facet. It's just good at all aspects of the game, which is kind of crazy.
Kind of an interesting case to this game. A lot of the games that we've been casting, there's been brawls non-stop from the beginning. And in this one, at a certain point, it's like both teams agreed, okay, let's just let each other farm. We'll give you a couple towers here and there, but we're opting to wait for these big item power spikes, which
ano ba talaga mga offlane ngayon tol?
The Spirit side, the Slark, Mr. Yotoro, is not going to
nangiyaman ng mga kupal lang po.
So he's going to be even slower. But Skeeter with the
Radiance, mga offlane, no? Laging lamang sa carry yung mga offlane.
Skirmish time for him, so about 800 away from that.
Yeah, and this also begs the question, who's going to kill the Tormentor? I think neither lineup's really good at it. So you see Falcons already have placed the vision down there, and now Mipushka's going to go and try to clear it out. His sentry will...
Si Whis ka mo sa offlane niya. Sinong Whis tol?
But he didn't see the ward because of nighttime.
Boss, wala na 3-2-2. Hindi ko lang sure tol kung may nagti-3-2-2 pa na mga player.
And he is pinging them to attack it. You might get your wish here with a fight.
Pag nag-3-2-2 kasi tol, kahit di ka mahuli, patapon na yung ano mo eh, career mo eh, sure yan eh. Kumbaga, asa ka sa easy money na lang.
And of course, we talked about Slark Midas. Just
T1 ka.
Just not very useful right now.
Yeah.
No, ano tol, Major, di sila nanalo sa amin, mga 0-8 ata sila sa amin. Tapos nung TI, hindi na kami manalo, 0-4, ganun. Tapos, malupit din talagang mga gago.
There's the collapse ult finally going off as Amar will be the first to fall in this fight. Malrine with the ult.
Ay, hindi tumama bro. Ah!
By crit in the end, so it's a 1-for-1.
Toyo naman ni Crit.
That was so heads up from Laurel though. He insta-chained the blink RP. He got changed off before he got RP'd by the mag, and therefore the skewer couldn't come out, and that allowed Collapse to find the arena and get the counterplay for the 1-for-1 trade. And I think if you're Spirit, you're probably pretty happy with this, because in the meantime, Radon was just free farming with his Midas, and yeah, sure, Spirit was also farming, but
Slark
needs the space more than anyone.
Radiance versus Div, yun na tol.
Offer him a bit more
fighting. Tayo si Collapse.
Very precarious spot.
Lalim mo, so Collapse.
All these TP rotations, it's just going to be his
Upal ka bro, ang lalim mo.
Again, you talked about the Tormentor. Normally this will be done.
Kung tingin naman yung viewers mo dati sa FB. Ilan ba viewers ko dati sa Facebook? Tol, nakalimutan ko na eh.
It seems very available right now. Taking out that tier 1, removing the Watchparty.
Mid ba ako nun? Offlane. Nakalimutan ko na rin, ang role ko eh.
So they still have some sort of vision down here. And yeah.
Nag-pick ka na 20k plus, di ko na maalala. Max win siguro ko no?
Careful!
They got it done.
And crit,
sa 5k
unfortunately for Falcons, will get the shard.
I would have rather had a crystal.
Pag post 5 kasi talaga tol.
No doubt about it.
Ang hirap pa ng ore. Buti nga may nanonood pa rin. Tingnan nyo. May mga close ka ba pro international? Like, nakausap mo pag nag-gata sa LAN? Wala, batian lang tol. Usually, wala naman ako ka-close sa international. Yung kumbaga, nakakausap lagi sa mga ano, ganito ganyan. Ito mga to si Malrin ha. Mahirap na i-drive yun? Baka mahirap na i-drive, no? Itong mga si Malrin eh.
I was just gonna say yes, Thunderbolt. I think he could have hit that by just driving in a circle, right? Is that? I think that's still possible, right?
It is.
Ang lakas ka mag-support.
I don't know.
Sakto lang, bro.
Maybe it was just
Bubola pa
Mallory
to.
is an
Ano
absolute
Gcash mo?
master of this hero, so I'm really surprised he didn't find that
Ikaw nga, may
connection
laman ba
there.
Gcash ko?
But
Well, Mallory's going to find another connection. This time from Collapse. He's going to spear him onto the low ground, it looks like.
Huwag na, tatamad na pala ako.
Collapse is the one taking a ton of damage as Snaking gets off his ult.
Oh, patay dalawa, bro.
a lot of stacks on Radon right now, but no ult.
Yep, Skeeter.
Oh, Hazel, never mind, it got ready
He
again.
is taking quite a bit of damage, but I don't think Yatoro can stick to him any longer as the rest of Falcons have come to play. So lots of one-to-one trades here early on. We're in for a really good
Ganda ng...
There's a possibility of this one becoming a nail biter down the stretch.
Ganda
I will
ng
say,
ano,
though,
tol?
it is a really good Slark game. The Spirit took their time to identify this is the right pick for the situation. And Radon's game, I think now, considering that, like we talked about, his laning stage didn't start off.
Ganda ng game nila, tol.
He's running a Midas. He's basically first in net worth now, tied with Pango. Slark can completely.
Di lang puro laro matututo. Oh, gago, ganda, tol. Hindi, pag seryoso naman ako, tol. Nagbibigay ako mga wisdom, ah. You know?
Lifesteal of winning against Slark
Tom
is
of
mainly
knowledge
something that
yarn.
happens in the mid portion of the game where you come out of the laning phase strong.
Need
have
to
great
knowledge.
You're fighting with your team before Slark gets
Sige.
multiple core items.
Sa sunod, tol, pag marunong na ako magsulat ng libro,
You can't really
bigyan ko
counter
kayo
Slark
libro.
the same way as Lifesteal
Ah, ang ina mo, angas.
because disarming doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
Kesa na ba madaling iluto? Nagluluto na kasi ako ngayon eh. Legit.
To go in and has to use generally the way Slark works in fights is you go in, you
Lowest
use one of your
gold kanina
defensive
sa mga
cooldowns
course.
with a
Mabilis
PKE,
mag-farm talaga yan,
shard,
tas
or
nakamayda siya.
eggs. You hit sometimes, and you either reset or use them in sequence back to back to back. Lifestealer could
Adobo?
counter
Madaling
one of them.
lutuin ng
So when you
adobo?
would
Kaso
go in,
tumatalsik
he'd
ba
just
yun?
infest you and kind of force you to use the defensive for nothing. But now, he
Eh,
infests you, you're
kawawa
like, so
naman
what, you
yung
just keep
asawa
hitting
ko pag...
Yeah.
So I
Kawawa
do
naman
think that's a
yung
bit of a
asawa ko.
problem here.
Asawa
And
ko.
Falcons need to
Asawa wa.
itemize
Awawa ko.
specifically against Slark.
Mallory, he's infested. They're going to see
Okay, good.
Yatoro. Permastun is
Uy.
coming for him with the freezing field.
Grabe mag-drive, tol!
Yatoro.
Not missing the drive that time. On the mark the whole way through
Ay,
is Malrine.
madali lang yan. Din?
Yeah, the freezing field.
Ito, parang
Obviously, a
gusto ko
nice
rin
ability
magluto
here
ng pork steak,
against,
ah.
Slark and his ult.
Interesting that maybe I'm wrong here. Is it normal to go armlet after Radiance?
Doon ka matututo.
I don't feel like that's that.
Bagay, malupit din talaga magluto ngayon, tol.
Surprised by that.
Yeah,
Nakikita ko yung sila Gordon, tol.
They see that Yatoro's playing a bit greedy with the itemization.
possibly just a
O
pace
si
thing,
Ramsey.
yeah, that they're like, all right, let's turn it up and really put some pressure now. But you could have argued
Derek
maybe
Ramsey
something
pala,
from
no?
Yasha could have been an approach here instead, because that's also a pretty aggressive
Ay,
item.
kailan yung marinate ng overnight?
Yeah, I assume that. I mean, Axe
Bawal
is
yung,
typically,
kunyari,
what, the third
naisipan ko
item
lang magluto
maybe
ng
in a
ganun.
standard-
I don't know if
Tsaka ako
you
lulutuin,
Yeah, I'm
bawal
just
yun.
saying, in this
At
patch,
all,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Kumain na kayo sa
where it
resto
slots
ni
in.
Gordon. Hindi ako nakakain, tol. Nagpa-reserve ako nakaraan,
I think there's
pero
still games where you can buy it
may
for the
lakad ako,
fourth
tol.
if the conditions are right.
Nagka-meeting.
It's a very important game to make sure you get infest off.
mag-guess ka
more
kay
so
Ninong
than
Ray.
the
Ayoko,
best
tol.
defensive
Puto ko nun.
measure
Lupit-lupit
than an
magluto
offensive
nun
one.
eh.
But like in
Pang
this
ano ba?
one,
Si Ninong Ray ba, tol? Pang ano? Top level na chef o ano? Pang ano lang? Pinoy.
But I don't know if Skitter wants to go that
Daming
route with
viewers.
Sanjay Yasha, but I feel like you buy one of them. He's eyeing up
Gagong
SMI now.
yaman nila, tol. Ng ano? Ni Muerta, tol.
And
Tinan mo
then,
yung network.
I don't know, AC maybe, depending on what Mag wants to build. Amar is planning a Harpoon plus BKB, so I don't think he'll be buying the AC.
Mapaka-chill lang ng game nila, no?
And of course, you also have the option rather of buying AC on Pango. Since this hero has been changed, we've seen
Yeah,
players run
true.
that build. But Axe for the time being for Malrine, and then probably Basher. I think anything you can get that could just make your Tauros fights harder will be valuable, and Basher definitely one of those.
Content creator.
Collapse with a completed defeated 9-seconder, still be put to
Pero
use.
at least,
Laurel
diba?
has a 9-seconder as well, and then they have 2 solar crests.
Teka,
So
sino ba
very
nauna
clear
sa mga luto-luto, tol? Si
physical
Ninong Ray din ba? O
counter
may iba
from
pang
the
mga
supports
ano,
and
content
immunity
creator
approach
na
from
ano,
the cores
luto-luto?
here is the
Galing eh, no?
idea. And of course, Solar Crest is insane.
Buti nga umuso yung mga ganun, vlog-vlog na ano eh, no? Ilalabas mo lang yung recipe.
It's a snowbally hero in fights. You want to accelerate
Panlasang
them and get
Pinoy?
lots of stacks quickly, and by
Sino yung
just
panlasang
pumping
Pinoy?
with
Si
Solar
Tipsy,
Crest,
di ba
you
yan?
can just keep. It's
Ay,
just
hindi ko
a
nakikita yung panlasang Pinoy, tol.
Well, he's got Ags
match
now.
made in heaven.
So
That combo.
double pounce and a ridiculously long range.
Giniling,
Yeah,
puta.
they could even chakra him
Pag giniling
for
ata,
the
eh,
third pounce.
baka gumiling na lang ako.
True.
Probably most likely going to reserve those primarily for Laurel, because Slight Chains is just...
It's just too good.
Come on, snaking. Ala tol, di ko nakikita sa Facebook yun tol.
The Caudal Ember, classic. Snaking.
Ay.
Breaks the smoke and stays alive.
Lead mid BKB, alright.
Available for Laurel right now.
Ang bagal lang gameplay ngayon.
They do get a couple wards down though.
Ito nag-e-FM mo. Si Chip
This
din,
is
no?
gonna be an early Ags from Crit.
Node na lang tayo, tol.
Wow, he's only 1,000 away, so...
Huwag na mag-Dota, guys. Press 1 sa mga huwag na mag-Dota.
Newer Ags in the game.
Node lang.
I like it too. He's actually the net worth difference of the game.
Masarap pag... ang luto pag
He's him.
pinakain mo kay Madam Windy.
With a capital H.
Ano papakain, tol?
Oh, BKB for Amar. This will be the reveal as Malrine. He's infested.
Siyempre, pag magluluto ako, sa asawa ko lang, brad.
They're gonna wrap around now. They find Laurel, or is it the other way around?
Uy, gago, na RP.
There's the RP only on to
Ano
one.
to?
They have the stun lock. No silence came, but the BKB
Medyo bubulong yung RP na, no?
That's gonna break things up. So they did force a BKB, but it was for the reverse polarity.
Yeah. And if Spirit had been closer with some of their heroes, they might have even turned that one around on them.
Kamusta yung Playtopia? Wala pa, Paps eh. Balitaan ko na lang kayo pag mag-open na yun, tol.
TP stuck around trying to get the wave. He did get the wave.
Ano lang siya, para siya mapalaruan ng bata, tol.
And how good are the Roche capabilities?
Sa mga ano, ilang months pa.
Pretty bad.
It's the same as the Torment, really.
Ano na ba ngayon? January, February, March?
They're not good at killing Roche, Tormentor, or buildings on either
April.
side. So it is going to lead to this kind of a game where
Siguro
getting
ano,
objectives is more of a later portion.
pag mga July, August, sana makalipat namin yung condo, tol. Para yung screen, yung webcam ko, kita nyo na yung likod. Dito kasi maraming, ano diba, dumadaan sa likod, kaya yung angle natin. Nababawasan yung kapugian ko dito. Kumbaga, hindi 100% yung potential.
I think he's already bought the Ags, attempting to TP out, and he's
really
fine.
nice. Really nice.
Gaya ni Crit, tol.
Deserves a tip for that. That is a very... That's such a clever spot to find.
Kapit bahay tayo. Legit, Bash.
Super next level.
Sariling room. Yes,
Give him his
Noctis.
Ags.
Yeah. So Deadshot is thick and juicy. And
Maling
will,
angle lang.
pass through
Uy, huwag naman ganyan.
Yep.
So you can
Gago, nantatrash ako.
this is a crazy Ags.
Ay, putang ina
I was
doon
actually
pala.
really surprised. We've been seeing
Ayoko doon, Bash.
for a game for me to watch.
Ayoko na magsugal eh.
It's like the first main item, or I guess this would be the second in this case. For Don, he's gonna force out the ult from Crit.
New house. Wala, hindi kami maano tol eh. Mabahay eh. Gusto namin condo lang, tol.
Now the pounce away. Samar looking for an opening, but doesn't look like one will come quite yet.
This is actually a kind of cool pairing that I didn't think about. You can lower the cooldown of Depth Shroud by a lot with Caudal. And it allows Slark
Ba may gustong bumili ng condo ko dito. You know? 1,000 subs. Ay, teka, lugi yata ako dun ah. Ilan yung 1,000 subs?
But with Recall plus Chakra,
Ooh.
you can kind of line them up.
2M? Ay, 200k lang pala yun, putang ina. Ang gag... Hindi, 1,000 subs. 200k lang pala. Mali pala, mawawala na akong condo, tol. 200k? Okay nang inang gagawin ko dun.
Yeah, I mean, he needs a BKB, of course.
G1k subs.
I would assume.
Paunahan nyo na, Brad.
Really? Wow.
Oh,
Auction.
He's both queued up. He only had the Sanjay
Kondo, no? 200k? Gago ba kayo? Tas QC nakalagay?
He might just end up scrapping the Sanjay idea. And I think if he gets the BK
10k
first,
subs.
you go SNY after that. Then I think you go something more ambitious, probably.
Barya yan, tol.
Yeah.
10k subs.
We'll go the way of Falcons again.
By the way, sa Morato to nakalagay, tol, ah.
Skeeter instead, so...
Infest applies a 50% duration open wounds to enemies in the damage radius.
Yeah,
Oo.
it's a weaker.
Ano to, 2 bedroom?
But it can definitely.
Kung alam niyo yung presyo sa QC, tol. Alam niyo na yan. 2.5M, sobrang baba nan, tol. Mga celebrity nakatira dyan. Hindi naman. Meron lang ilan, tol. 2BR lang sa tol. Yung itong condo namin. Parang ano lang siya? Parang 54 or SQM?
I think they would have rather had.
Di ko alam kung kasama na yung balcony. Parang ganun. Maliit lang talaga.
250-50s lost.
Yeah.
Talagang hindi talagang sa QC lang siya nakatayo tol. Pero pag sa iba to nakatayo, like kunyari sa probinsya, mga ano lang to. 2M ganun, legit.
And 1% the coin breaks.
Medyo malaki na. Parang ano, doble lilipatan namin.
That's right. Whoa, that was a
mura. Gago yun. 2.5 yung mata tol. Pamigay yun ah. Bash. Pamigay yun. Pag sa QC.
It's actually a quite meaningful kill when the
may floor yan sa for laundry. Meron naman tol.
You can't just bleed out.
Is either magpapalaundry ka sa baba ng condo mo or sa labas may papalaundry. Parang maraming ways eh. Pag sa QC ka naman nakatira tol, nasa labas lahat tol. Maraming resto, maraming ano. Talagang mahal lang lahat. Bilihin, palengke, shopping, ganun.
It's a meaningful kill at this point. Also, the death timers will be longer, of course.
Oh, nice RP finds two as Skeeter
is
ripping through them. Rue, he's gonna get open wounds, but here comes Yatoro.
2 bedroom, 10 to 15. Ay, depende ata, Madam Ange, kung saang area tsaka anong yung developer na ano na condo. Uy, gago, nag-choke si Collapse tol. Gago si Radan ha. Tira doon to mga. Ay, may aegis siya. Gago si Radan tol, naglalaban ha.
Aegis lost, already at half HP. He is getting eaten up.
He has a lot of
Will pop his ult though.
If he gets reset.
Dark packed away, pounces well, attempting to TP.
Oh,
skewer. The tower. Amar gets the kill. Big fight for Falcons.
Damn.
May multa. Wala naman tol. Anti-trip lang kayo tol.
And then TP's back to, was it base? I think.
Ay, hindi ko nasasabihin yung pinakalilipatan namin, Bash. Masyado ka naman chismos.
Yeah, you're probably. Yeah,
sarap mag-breakfast sa Leonard. Uy, legit ba? Hindi pa ako napag-breakfast dun.
Gonna see it here. So, here's the replay.
One ride. Ay, legit.
They don't kill Coddle.
Kumbaga, yung spot namin tol, alam niyo yung AB, CBN, GMA, 5 minutes to 10 minutes lang. Parang ganun. Malapit lang kami sa lahat tol eh.
He TPs here. It was all the way back to base. And he's actually running all the way back to this fight. And I understand.
Kaya may mga artista dito nag-rent lang. Yung ganun.
We can go for this with an Aegis.
Basta to mas marato.
But Crit stayed alive for so long with the ult. And snaking
mas masarap pa sa Okada.
Slowing things down by a ton.
Di ko alam. Kasi pag pumunta ka dun, imposibleng hindi ka maglaro ng casino tol eh. Tapos minimum mo 5k siguro cash in. Tapos, di ba? Ululungkot ka tol, iced tea mo.
If they don't find this skewer and he gets to full reset and heal up, he might have been able to re-engage and get more stuff done there. But
ang bilis mabenta yung boss ko, huwag mo lang pa rin. Kaya nga eh. Sa susunod pa naman tol.
69%. We're gonna ignore that last chain there.
Okay, sabihan ko kayo pag binibenta ko na. Abiling nyo eh.
Alright, close that now.
Nice.
There we go. 69 again.
May Morato siya tol. Morato
I mean, we did see that as well coming into play there. We didn't really mention it, but you know, the empower on a melee target.
Reselling in Bossku. Ay, yung lilipatan?
And he
okay na tol, paano na?
His SNY. So I think you're right. I think
tumayo na ha, tangina mo, tumayo na.
The other way around.
Parang ginalit ni Mrs. eh, na tumayo na.
Okay. You lose the status resist.
Yeah.
Taga saan ka ba, Bash? Ano ito? Yun yung pera.
Yeah, the Manta is... There's just a lot of
wala pa presyo, wala pa tol.
Those two spells, but also everything Jakiro throws at you if you're out of rage.
Usually naman, hindi ko ibebenta ng ano eh, yung OP. Kumbaga yung ano lang, yung pinaka-price niya lang tol.
And usually the way you do that is either through BKB or
hindi ko i-rush tapos di rin yung sobrang mahal. Yung normal price lang, kumbaga. Kasi iparento ko pa. Pag ipaparent mo sa 30k to parang 35 to 40k. Parang gano'n na kasi rentahan ngayon ng 2BR eh. Nakahubad pa nga yun eh, di ba? Yung mga ano, 30k. Nakahubad pa yan, yung mga bear. Bear na ano. Pag sa QC mahal talaga renta talaga dito. Pukinangin ng lugar to.
Tier 10 at this rate.
Tagalaro ay isa rin. Kaya nga eh.
And
Pagkupal pa nag-rent sa'yo, no?
Let's
Pabuyin
entertain
yung
the idea
ano mo.
that games went really long in a patch. Like that the average game time was an hour and a half. When do you think there should be some sort of way that just finishes the game? Like what do
High
you think
Park
is,
Bossku,
okay,
dyan
now
lang
the
din
game has gone
Bertis.
long enough, it should-
Magkano kondo mo, Bash?
we had that back in this when the FPS started to break and Darkseer
He was
had fire
pollution.
coming out of his ass.
Okay, well that was not an answer.
Wala,
to my
tol.
question.
Sa ano
That's not
kami?
what you
Dito
think,
kami
that's
sa
what we
ano,
had.
tol.
I didn't
Manila,
get the game
QC.
either.
I think
So it was
having-
actually a terrible answer.
I think
there.
having strong nudges like
Dahil
tier
malapit
5
kami
is
sa
the
lahat.
best way to do it.
Tapos
Just-
therapy pa
Yeah,
si
so you think
baby
an
namin,
hour-
di ba
an
si
hour is a good
Lailay?
time to be like, okay,
Dito ata malapit
now the
yung
game
mga
should
therapy.
be about 10.
Yeah,
Kompleto
But
kasi
some
dito,
players
tol.
love long games, right? Everybody who loves techies wants to play
Mura
forever
lang.
and never leave.
Panis
Yeah, of
sa'yo.
course. The old
Magkano
techies,
dyan,
that is.
Bash?
They're massive.
O yung sabihin?
Um,
Damot naman na ito.
So you're on board with like an hour is a healthy upper bound for a Dota game.
Yep,
Okay.
Alis ka na sa QC?
it should be rare.
I think most people.
QC
are
pa
probably
rin, tol.
on
I
board
think
with
we're in
that,
a pretty
like,
good
range.
spot right now. Is the
Baka lab namin yung mayor namin.
Nullifier is next for Malrine. They're gonna run into Maposhka, although
Si Madam Joy, di ba?
Taro, it's
Uy!
oh my
Holy
goodness, that
shit
is some damage.
damage, tol. Grabe naman si Malrin dun, tol.
Yes, he does have buyback here, and they will likely try to force it. There are 3 tier 2s though, still up and running.
And now he no longer has
Pa-BKB na, brad, ah.
just purchase.
Oh.
He bought a Mithril Hammer? That's good to have in
Gago
your
si Rerick.
inventory when
Nandiyan na
you're
si Rerick, tol.
Amar, he BKB skewers, and they're gonna find
Gago
a
patay si
little
Miboshka.
pick-off onto Maposhka. And that's another hero that's... Oh, they've dropped the gem?
Gago, yaman naman ni ano, tol, ni Bash.
Octarine now for crit. He is
Ano ba, one sub dyan, tol?
he has
20
about the
yung
same
kondo
net
mo.
worth as the Mars.
That's... Yeah.
On his
Yun
words,
naman yun.
135 CS to his name as position 4.
28
Lumakas
minutes
bigla.
faster than the
Ganyan
previous
talaga yung Falcons, tol.
This is
It has
like
been bought in one match and it won.
Gago, FM sila. Ay!
Wow, it's looking
Kalaber
good
rin
right
chata
now.
nila.
Lincoln's
Sabayan
now
ko nga
for
sila,
Mar.
chip, tol. Try lang.
Have we had 2 callings up at the same time?
Pag wala, edi wala na.
What is the cooldown on this spell?
It's
22 seconds
Pang
now with
president
Octarine?
suit
You
na yan.
can
Yung
be
alin,
able to
tol.
advance the dead, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've
Insights
Insights mo sa laro. Wala, kwentuhan nga lang, tol, eh.
That would be interesting.
Pag mag-top 4 kayo, gago, nang pe-pressure ka naman, sir.
He's gonna get hexed. This collapse is gonna get hit by a dead shot.
Di, mahal talaga kondo, tol. Depende talaga kung saan nakatayo, tol.
Magnus bought Lincoln.
Mas mahal ata sa BGC na, tol. Ay, gago ka. Naligaw ako. Legit, naligaw ako. O sila Gabi to, tol.
Mars's Hex and Slark's Orchid. Which
Yeah.
makes it really
Sila Gabi
good,
ba to?
right? Because you can't just
Well,
get it off with some random trash.
Diffusal.
Or the Diffusal.
That is.
Ay, out of 10.
That
Ako
would
nga
be
yan.
quote unquote trash, right?
Yeah, but it's really good here. The
Lang natin.
because it makes collapse.
Rolling Thunder, they're gonna try to assassinate again.
Developer din, tol. Tsaka lugar.
Of his base, 70 seconds, no buyback.
Falcons have so
Pero
good
try
vision
nyo
and
kumuha
just
ng
so
mga
good control of the
pre-selling,
map
tol.
right now. Spirit.
Kunyari,
We've
may
not
ano
seen
kayo.
them like this yet, this tournament. Just
Kaya
playing,
nyo yun.
playing keep
They
away.
have literally not lost a game.
Di
if I'm not mistaken.
di masakit yung
I don't
monthly
think-
mo.
I believe
Tapos
that's
bigla
correct.
ka na
I
lang,
also- I don't
bang,
even remember looking
may
at
kondo ka ng
seeing
or bahay.
on net worth really.
Yeah.
So this is a very this
FM
is one
daw.
of the greatest
Yes,
comeback
yes.
teams ever. But this one's gonna be tough. You're playing
gago,
against
naiwan ako.
insane AoE damage from the
Naiwan
control rather with
ako.
RP as well as Pango ult.
Yoko
Playing
na.
against an Omega farm Muerta who can be a third carry.
Yoko na, hindi na ako magagana.
Worth board with Empower. Yeah,
Magkano doon sa
everything is coming together
mga
beautifully for Falcons this
pre-selling?
game.
Magkano ka pa rin? Alam ko may magda-down ka mga ano eh. Million pa rin tol eh. Or depende pa rin kung ano. Kung ilang years yung pre-selling. Alam ko 5 years, di ba? Mga pre-selling. FM pa? FM pa? Ayoko na. Wala na sila Armel. Ayoko na. 5 years to pay yung ayan DP. Ano yung DP? Deposit?
They lose the Slark and they're right next to the pit. I mean, Crit does die. That was their initial
Down
target,
payment?
but it takes forever.
And Collapse had to kill himself to get it done.
5 years
So
to pay
I
yung
think that trade
deposit,
is
down
good. It's
payment.
even. Right, Mars from Huerta at this point is...
Di ba magda-down ka lang ng ano?
But Slark just not really finding much
Kulit mo,
presence in
idol.
the
Hello,
fight
lab.
once again. And
Sabi mo lalabas ka.
from Skeeter.
Lalabas ka, ilalabas ko to.
In that situation to save the Huerta and buy those precious seconds here. So you're seeing in this opener, they need to spend a ton of the... This is the issue. They needed to spend a ton of the lockdown time on connecting Radon. They spent the entire Hex.
Ito na wait ha.
Like, imagine that situation where
Takot din talaga yan eh.
they kill
Pag tinatopak pa naman ako ginagawa ko yung sinasabi ko. Ito na oh.
Just having that extra couple of seconds on him and then getting saved by Infest. Big deal.
Inside their base and Maposhka.
Yung si Zarupo, pag ganyan talaga usapan, lumalabas ka. Napag-aalarang kita tol ha.
30 seconds.
Gago ka labas! Sakit!
That coach interview from AUI, there might be some truth to it. Like,
what, the country roads?
No, just talking to Slacks just really brings out the best in this team.
Nano ako, nagulat ako. Sakit ang ano. Napaganon yung muscles ko.
Rue is completely isolated. Gonna burn down to the Radiance as Skeeter. Won't be able to secure that
nice
one.
try on the Manta, but...
Now Radiance has his ult. Collapse just died.
Hindi naman kita ginagulat eh.
BKB as well. Nullifier applies a large, can pop the BKB of his own. Yatoro.
Ano binabas yan sabi ko?
This is still an Aegis lifesteal of
Anong bash doon? Nilalabas ko lang naman. Ikaw yun? Ano sakit? Gago pa. Naipitan akong ugat ata lang.
Old at some point.
That's not an age thing. I think that nobody ever said that.
That's not true.
Nobody ever said it unironically.
Yeah.
Not gonna hit the spear.
Hindi nagdodota. Alam, tama magdota si Windy.
And I mean, this is 3 buybacks still.
Nilabas yung kon.
And there's plenty of time on the Aegis.
May opera ako sa nilalab eh. 1,000 subs.
Just regroup, wait for the next
isang kondo. 250k lang pala yun. Eagles.
They retain their RP.
Eagles pala yung sinabi ko. Gag.
This is reaching impossible territory now for Team Spirit.
Yep. Not looking good here.
The amount of advantages. We're at a point now where Falcons can flat out whiff an ult.
Gago, lasang Falcons tol.
See this Manta. Nice attempt.
Kamukha ko rin kasi talaga si Amar tol. Putang ina talaga. Si Skeeter pala. Si Amar naman.
Hands up.
Sa dami gusto mo maging kamukha si Amar pa tol. Putang ina. Wag naman.
2.5 minutes on the Aegis. Roshan banner at the disposal.
Si Amer. Medyo gawing si Miracle. Payat-payat lang talaga.
Cooldown for Spirit.
What the fuck? Wag naman.
And now Smoke to try to expedite the process. See if they can find somebody in the base.
Si Amer, no? Amer pangalan, di ba? Miracle. Gago, panalo yung ano, tol. Okay. Pangit pala si Yakiro, tol. Hina. Gago ko. No hesitation si Amar, tol. Legit. Si ito po, Bossku, hawig mo talaga. Wag naman. Ata si Tofu, tol eh. Pogi mo ako nung may kulay pa. Ano, grabe ka naman. Wala kulay ko, parang nilait mo naman ako doon. Double lead ilong ni Collapse. Di ko alam yung sa mga viewers tol kung ano eh, no? Merong ano dito, may mga sabit. Pugi kala Collapse. Kinang ina. Di mo sure kung anong ano eh. Kung lalaki tas gusto lalaki din eh, no? Kulit niya, Pops. Hindi, wala namang ano problema doon. 2025. Umamin lang kayo, tol. Okay lang naman ngayon yan.
They have a way of sometimes really leveling up for the playoffs. Now, this is game number 1.
Di yung ano, yung pugi-pugi sila kay Collapse, ganun. Tapos ano sila, ayoko. Pwede maumamin ngayon, tol. 2025 na, tol.